You know, as so many of us spend time with family, fire up the grill, and enjoy a long weekend, it is so important to pause and remember what this weekend is truly about. Memorial Day is a solemn day of remembrance, honoring the men and women who gave their lives in service to our country. That mission lives on every day at the New Hampshire State Veterans Cemetery, a sacred resting place that honors all veterans and reflects our state's deep gratitude for their service. It's also a place that depends heavily on volunteers, people who quietly show up day after day to help care for the grounds and support events all throughout the year. This weekend, we honor them too.
From WMUR News 9, this is Heart of New Hampshire.
It is a privilege to be joined on the couch this morning by Sean Buck, the director of the New Hampshire State Veterans Cemetery, and retired Master Sergeant Lee Hurdle, who is one of those critical volunteers who we just spoke about. First of all, thank you both so much for your service and for your continued service to honor our veterans. Sean, I want to start with you. I just want to talk about the mission and the history behind the State Veterans Cemetery. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. The New Hampshire State Veterans Cemetery was opened in 1997. We're part of the National Cemetery Administration. So as the World War II generation started passing away, the goal of the NCA, the National Cemetery Administration, is to have a veteran cemetery within 75 miles of all veterans. So they started partnering up with states, and the state of New Hampshire partnered up in the mid-90s to open the State Veterans Cemetery and donated a plot of land that used to be a state forest to become the Veterans Cemetery. And we opened in 1997, first burial November 19th, 1997, a World War I veteran. Wow. And in that time, since then, we've buried almost 19,000 folks in the New Hampshire State Veterans Cemetery. We're to the point where we bury about 1,100 a year. And our mission is to honor veterans and their service and their family members. So dependents are eligible, and we think that's important because a family serves. And so our job is to provide a reverent service and then a reverent place to visit so that the people of New Hampshire can come and honor those who've served. It's so beautiful. Sergeant, what is it like when you're in that cemetery? What does it feel like for you?
It's emotional. It's a very emotional place, but it's not solemn. And I don't mean it in a bad way. It's overwhelming. It's such a beautiful place, and it's a beautiful place you want to be. You don't really want to be in solemn places. You want to be in great places, and that's what that place is like.
That's really special. Sergeant Hurdle, you have played the taps 7,000 times, or at 7,000 different services.
7,160 as of yesterday.
So, but who's counting? That is amazing. Can you, it's always, I don't think I'm alone when I say every time I hear the taps, it brings tears to my eyes. It is so powerful. It's such a moving experience. What is the symbolism behind the taps?
Taps was first used during the Civil War, rather than gunfire to honor the veterans, only because the troops were in such close proximity. So it was first used during the Civil War to honor during the burial, and since then it's just evolved as that's what everybody wants. They want taps, and I do make a lot of people cry. So I see that quite often.
Yeah. Why did you decide to get involved or to learn to play?
I went to a funeral once and I saw a CD player hidden behind a gravestone, and it irritated me.
Sure.
So I went home, dusted off the old trumpet I used to play in college and high school and elementary school, and taught myself to play taps. And then I hitched up with the Army Honor Guard. And since then, that was in 2008, and since then I've been sounding taps as many funerals, as live taps, as many funerals as I can possibly get to.
That's incredible. After 7,000 ceremonies, does it still bring tears to your eyes occasionally?
Yes, well, and I make that statement because it's the one I didn't do. Is what makes me honored to do it. Was for my son, and I didn't think I was going to be able to get through that. So I know what these people are going through. And my son's buried at the Veterans Cemetery also. It's a beautiful spot.
Can you tell us a little more about your son?
He was in the Air Force. Unfortunately, on his way to work one day at Hill Air Force Base, he was involved in a motorcycle accident, and as a result of the injuries, he passed away. So, but he qualified to be buried at the Veterans Cemetery, and that's where he is now. So I get to see him every day while I'm up there.
So you spend a lot of quality time there.
Yes, I do.
Right. Sean, so many different ceremonies and so many different ways to get involved. Let's just talk about how people can get involved. I know there's the, placing flags and all different things for people to get involved with at the Veterans Cemetery. Can you explain?
Yeah, volunteers are really our lifeblood. We have a very small staff, and the staff does all they can. They do every burial, they place every headstone, they take care of the grass, they string trim all 9,000 headstones. It's a lot of work. So we have multiple programs. So just this last Thursday, we put flags out on all the graves. We do that before every Memorial Day. And then we also have a program called the Adopt a Garden program. We have over 100 gardens at the Veterans Cemetery. Again, hard for the staff to give the TLC to every one of them because they're doing so many other things. And so we have a lot of family members come and adopt a garden that's near their loved one. And that helps us tremendously. We have tons of events throughout the year. A couple things I want to highlight is we have a Memorial Day ceremony every year on May 30th at 11 a.m. So if you come to the Veterans Cemetery on May 30th at 11 a.m., we'll be having our Memorial Day ceremony then.
And important to note, it's May 30th, everyone. It's not on Memorial Day.
It's on May 30th, if that happens to fall on the Monday of Memorial Day.
Yes.
But I do encourage folks to go to, there's a Veterans Memorial Day ceremony at the Veterans Home and at the VA Hospital on the Monday, the 25th this year. But also go to your communities and go to the, honor veterans in your community, those who've passed, but also those who are still living in your community. Then after Memorial Day, every year, the Monday or the first day after Memorial Day ceremony on the 30th, we have a planting event where we take all the plants that were left on graves over Memorial Day and we use them to refresh all of our gardens. And so we have tons of volunteers come. We put all these new plants. We try to keep plants near where they were left so that the family can see them in the garden. And then that same day in the afternoon, so the planting event is at noon, and then at 1 o'clock, families come and remove the flags from the graves. We put flags out again on Veterans Day, and then we do the wreaths on the first Monday of December. So there's lots of ways to get involved at the Veterans Cemetery.
So many different ways, and I want to talk, and we don't have too much time, but Sergeant, I want to talk about the 100 Nights of Remembrance. Can you explain what that event is and the volunteers needed for it?
Yes, that's a group that was formed back in 2007 to sound taps every night at the Veterans Cemetery after the 7 p.m. chimes. We have a live bugler there or trumpet player to sound taps in honor of the people who are already there. Sometimes we have some other people that will show up, but the people who count are already there. And we need people. Our numbers are diminishing greatly, and we need, if they could go on our website, 100nightsofremembrance.org, they can go through that process and they can register and sign up for taps throughout the summer till 9/11. That's when is our last day. And then we also go through the winter every Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Okay, such a meaningful way to get involved. And before we go, I would just love to hear from both of you. What does Memorial Day mean to you?
Memorial Day to me, first of all, I think of the people who I served with and some who were killed in action or have passed. And it just reminds me that my responsibility is to serve. And I think that's all of our responsibilities. But when you go to the Veterans Cemetery, I will say everybody in this state knows somebody at the Veterans Cemetery, even if you don't know that they're there. You do know. And so it reminds us to serve our community. Not all are called to service in the military. That's okay. Serve in some way. And so Memorial Day reminds me of the veterans who served before, but it also reminds me that I have a responsibility to serve, and I continue to do so.
It's a wonderful reminder. And Sergeant?
When I sound taps, I know the veteran hears it, but I see the family feels it. That's really what hits home. The family will start crying and so forth when I start sounding taps. Hopefully it's not a wrong note, but it is live. So.
Yeah. And I'm sure you feel closer to your son this weekend than maybe some others.
Quite often that's where I sound taps from. Is it great?
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, Sergeant Hurdle, first of all, thank you so much for the sacrifice that your family has made and for your service and yours as well. Sean, thanks for spending time on the couch with us this morning. To find out how you can get involved in all of those different ways, all you need to do is head to nhsvc.com.